Hello everyone, welcome to Boxing and Fitness. I'm Evan Isenberg. This is James Linville, who is a boxer in the local community who has very kindly volunteered to help us out with this video. How you doing, James?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Alright, so as with any fitness routine, because that's, if you want to box, you have to have a fitness routine. So as with any fitness routine, what you want to do is you want to make sure you get a good stretch. Otherwise you pull a muscle or something. You may not think you will, but I promise at one point you will. So James, will you go ahead and demonstrate some stretches for us, please? So this is the arm. He's crossing his arm here to do very good shoulder stretch, which is very important for some routines. Obviously not for like leg raises, but it's very important. Make sure with any stretch you do as long as you feel necessary, as far and like stretch that muscle as much as you can. You don't have to hold it for 30 seconds. You hold it until you think you've got a good burn. So this is the one everyone knows, the whole touch your toes thing. That's going to stretch, obviously, basically his whole body. It's going to get a lot of stretch from this. And it doesn't matter. If you can't touch the floor, if you can't touch your toes, go as far as you can every time. It'll get a little bit farther. I promise. Would you like to do some back stretches, please? So this one, as he brings his foot in this way, it really stretches your lower back and also your upper thigh. So that's a very good stretch. You really want to stretch that lower back. All right, James, thank you for that. All right, so we're going to start with shoulder exercises. Now, shoulder exercises usually you want to make sure you do on a timer. Some things you do on a timer, some you don't. So what he's going to do is he's going to do 30-second intervals of different stretches. He's going to have his feet nice and parallel here. He's going to do his arms to the side, then forward, and then he's going to do what's known as military. Will you show us military, please? Just like that. And then after that, he's going to do tricep press. Alright, so I'm going to start his timer, and he's going to do 30 seconds on each one. You ready, James?
Yep.
Okay. Go, please. Alright, James, you stop. So right now James has a 30-second rest, so I'm going to take this opportunity to explain both things. So when you do these shoulder exercises, you want to make sure you get the right dumbbell. Like an average person probably wants to start with lower dumbbells. It may seem really weak that you're using like 2-pound dumbbells, but it's a really good idea too at the beginning. Obviously someone like James can use like 15 pounds or however much he wants to. Just don't overextend your arms. Okay, so there was his 30-second rest. Now we're going to do cardio next, and this cardio, it can be anything. It can be running, it can be jumping jacks, it can be jump rope, whatever. What we're going to do with James is we have a treadmill here, and he's going to go and run on the treadmill for 10 minutes or so, and we'll just cut this out for you because we probably don't want to watch. So James, would please go to the treadmill. Alright, so James just ran on our treadmill for about 10 minutes or so. Did a pretty good run, but he didn't overextend himself. You don't want to do that because this is still the beginning of his workout, and he's not supposed to be running all out right now. That's later. So, okay, James just ran for us, as I just said. So what he's going to do is there's different parts of your body you can work, and it's always good to work them separately. You don't want to just work, like, you don't want to do your legs and then work your arms and your stomach. You want to have a nice little order to it. So he just did shoulder, so we're going to have him do his strength training, do some light strength training, like push-ups, pull-ups, etc. James, will you please go ahead and get in push-up position for us? So obviously he hasn't done his push-up yet, but this is pretty much what it'll be. So what you do when you do push-ups or anything like this, you always want to do as many as you can, and then one more. It's known as max rep. You don't want to set a timer for 30 seconds every time. This, you don't need to do that. You can, but you don't need to. So James, will you please start doing your max rep? You always want to make sure you come down so your nose will touch the floor there. It's very important to do that. And if you feel like you're getting really tired after just a few, because not everybody can do 30, some people can only do like 10. Well, what you can do is you can switch to do them on your knees, kind of. They're known as girl push-ups for most people. But it's actually a really good little breather that still works you out. Just like that. He's still in push-up position, his legs are still kicked out, but right here, his knees are still bent, he's on the floor. So that's very important. Alright, James, thank you for that. We're going to go to pull-ups here, and he's got to walk off over here, but we'll show you guys him doing pull-ups. So, alright, so here we're going to be doing pull-ups, like I said we would, and there's 3 different types. There's wide grip, under, and over. So James is going to start us off by showing us what a wide grip is. James, can you do that, please? And that's all you do, and then of course you pull up like it says. And it's really good at working right down here. It gets you a nice little triangle on your back. I'd say it's probably good, James. Now James is going to show us what an under is when you grab underneath. Under here. And these are your standard pull-ups, and most people know. They tend to be the easiest. Wide grips tend to be the hardest, but they still, of course, work you out. So this is important to know and do. Alright, now will you show us the same thing you did, but over? Now these are more challenging than unders, because obviously if you can see from what he's doing, it feels a little funny to do. But it works out pretty much the same thing, but it's actually a harder workout. Alright, now we're going to go back over there. Okay, so as you guys just saw, James was doing pull-ups over here, but we had to bring him back here because this is where this stuff is. So what he's going to do is, he's going to do jumping jacks, which is more cardio. Like I said, he doesn't have to do running every single time. James, will you demonstrate a couple of jumping jacks, please? You want to make sure when you do any kind of cardio, you have a timer. So I have a timer right here, which you can probably get from anywhere. And I'm going to set the timer for 30 seconds, and he's going to do jumping jacks for 30 seconds for us. Let me know when you're ready, James. Alright. Please go ahead. So all he's doing is just getting a good little cardio workout here. That's it. Just jumping jacks. Alright, James, thank you. Alright, so he just did his cardio, and now what we're going to do is what we have not worked him out on yet. We're going to work his legs and his abs. It's a very important thing for people like boxers and such. So, James, do you mind getting on the mat, please, on your back? What he's going to start with is leg raises, which are really good to work out abs and legs, of course. I'm just going to set this here. Okay, so he's got his hands to the side, is perfectly flat, which is very important. And then, will you go ahead and do one leg raise, please? Just like that. He keeps his legs nice and straight, never bends them. You can go ahead and lower them. And when you actually do your, like as many as you can, you don't let them touch the ground. So you don't have to do 30 seconds of it. You can, of course. You can do timers with anything. But I think this, you should do max rep. So James, will you please give us max rep leg raises? Alright, James, we'll do one more. I think that's good for now. People get the idea. Alright, will you get in your crunch position, please? What everyone remembers from school, like jumping jacks or things like that, that are actually very helpful. So he's going to do just a normal crunch, just a regular crunch. Will you do some crunches, please? Just like that. You keep your legs straight, bend, but your body straight, and then you curve up. And that's all it is. That was perfect. So then he's going to do some side crunches here. Will you do side crunches, please? all he's doing is he has his hands to his side, and he bends over and touches his feet. And that works the side, that works your obliques very well. It's really good to do that. Alright, now we're going to do the boxing kind of crunches known as scissor crunches. And these are really good. They work your abs basically twice as much. It's really good. Will you get in position, please? So when you do these, you want to make sure what you're going to do is bring in your knees and your head and bring them towards each other. But you don't ever let your feet touch the ground until you're done. James, will you do some scissor crunches, please? This gives you really good ab workouts. Very helpful. One more, please. Alright, so James, you can stand up now. That's pretty much his fitness part, and of course for a more intense workout like what someone who's an actual boxer would do, is you do things repeatedly. You don't just do 15 scissors, you do 15 scissors, then you run and come back. It's just all you do, you just come back. So just don't forget, if you want a more intense workout, you just do things over and over again until you can't do it anymore. Alright, so I'm going to make James go run on the treadmill one last time, and then he's going to do some boxing for you guys. Okay, so James here is kindly offered to do the demonstration of the boxing stance as well. So he's got the feet correctly. Now, will you please just show us what your boxing stance is? And from his stance, I'm assuming he's a right-handed guy. He's dominant on his right hand, for those of you that don't know. And it's called an orthodox stance. That's everybody's favorite stance. It's the easiest one to do. And what you do is, as he has here, you bend your knees, you have your feet just like this. That one's out at that little angle, and this one's at this angle. That's all you have to do. And you got to keep your back nice and straight like so. And he's got one hand in front and one hand behind. So this way people can't hit him from the front, people can't hit him anywhere else really, because all he has to do is move his hands. So this is, like I said, the perfect stance, which makes it really easy to throw good punches. So will you show us a one, please, just nice and slow here? Okay, so a one is known as a setup jab. A setup jab just keeps people at a distance and keeps them away from you. It's really good if you're tired because it's not that hard to do. So will you do it one more time? Stick it, please. Okay, so first off, when I say stick it, that just means like you did. Now, this is a really good number one. He keeps his hand, or his arm nice and straight. His hand is level with the ground here, which you want to do. Because if it's curved like this, that's going to hurt you more than the other guy. So you want it like that. And he hasn't leaned in. His body stays nice and straight like so. Alright, will you bring it back, please? Okay, so then the other punch is known as a two. We usually go with numbers. And the two is your power hit. It hurts so hard to get hit by. So what you do is you have to pivot with your body. So James, will you show us a two, please? There you go. Now, if you didn't notice, what he did is he pivoted with his body. So we do a two and stick it this time, please. Right here with his foot, you turn this foot around. And it's known as squashing a bug for most people. Just right here, you make sure he turned that foot. It's called squashing a bug. And his whole body has turned. And that's known as pivoting. And when you do that, that gets all the power of an actual hit with less energy. So will you do a couple of those for us, please? That's a good power hit right there. That would hurt really hard. So that's your basic 1-2 hit with a boxing stance. You can obviously make some combos out of those, and that's pretty much just a basic boxing routine that you can get out of that. Usually at the end of a boxing fitness class, you go like hard sprints, like suicides that most people know, or he can do whatever he wants as long as he does something at the end to wear him out. That's usually a really good intense workout, but you don't have to. So before I let you guys go here, I'm going to explain, James, you don't have to keep your stance anymore. Thank you though. I'm going to explain there's many health tips you guys can do, like making or eating healthier, which is very helpful. You want to make sure you try to find different modes of transportation, stuff like that. Just the more you exercise, the lot easier everything like this will just become. So see you guys next time.